I'm sure most of you guys clicking on this video know what to expect from this NBA discussion, especially for those of you who are regulars around here on the channel, because yes, another day has gone by, which means another day for us to make some overreactions to what we've seen thus far in the 2021 NBA preseason. Hey, I mean, they might not even end up being overreactions. When we look down the road, we could see that everything that's stated in these videos actually does come true. But you guys, NBA basketball is finally back, and even though it is just preseason, we need some stuff to talk about. Today, we have another team, in my opinion, that is going to be one of, if not the most exciting teams to watch in the 2022 season, as the potential and expectations on this team are set to a higher degree than anything they've seen in the last decade prior, it seems. Yes, as I'm sure you've already figured out, it has to do with these boys right here, the Charlotte Hornets. Because what we might see out of this team over the next year could be a surprise to many people that aren't paying close enough attention to what this team is doing. One sec, if you guys haven't yet, don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy, subscribe, and turn on those noties to never miss another NBA video. Love you guys. I say it often, but believe me, I'm highly encouraging you to hit this button, because according to the numbers, around 97% of you guys coming back to watch the content haven't even subscribed yet. Anyone that does, I appreciate it more than anything, so thank you. But anyway, let's get back into what we're here for, which again is the Charlotte Hornets, as they have gone from one of the more mediocre franchises in the entire NBA to a primetime coverage team, with a lot having to do with this man right here, Lamelo Ball. Even though this team did only finish with a 33-39 record, netting them the 10th seed in the Eastern Conference and barely getting a spot in the play-in tournament, it was very obvious to many that with Lamelo Ball winning Rookie of the Year and having a very solid young core around him, that this team's future over the next 5 years or so is definitely in good hands and can only see areas of improvement. However, even though it seems that some people do have high expectations for this Hornets team this season, many other people, including analysts and even NBA writers, do not expect to see that much improvement from the Charlotte Hornets, at least in terms of their record. As in fact, the consensus overall projected record for the Charlotte Hornets in the 2022 season is only a mere 36-46, which, as I'm sure you assumed, would potentially not even land them a spot in the play-in tournament. Believe me, I can definitely see why people are having these expectations. It does seem that the Eastern Conference did get substantially better, at least from an overall perspective. I am here to tell you right now that I personally believe the Charlotte Hornets are going to finish better than what most people expect for a number of different reasons. First one being the Charlotte Hornets finally being able to get an overall healthy roster to play with for the first time in a very long time. As most of you probably know, I'm referring to who can be considered the Charlotte Hornets veteran, Gordon Hayward, missing 24 games last season due to injury. I'll say it right here, right now, that there were so many people around the NBA underappreciating the presence of Gordon Hayward on this team that led to their success that they saw. Even though he did only have averages of around 19.5 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists per game last season, you watched your fair share of Charlotte Hornets basketball last season, you know more than anyone that he was a major factor in the improvement they saw. But just to get an idea of what the overall rotation of this team is going to look like going into next season, let's just assume that the Charlotte Hornets starting 5 is going to look like Lamelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, and then Mason Plumlee. Even though it might not stick out like crazy to the casual NBA fan, this is a very solid lineup for this squad. And then to finish this rotation off the bench, you have players like Ish Smith, James Bouknight, Miles Bridges, Kelly Oubre Jr., and even Kai Jones. Now I know, the first thing that's going to stick out to anybody looking at this rotation is veteran experience. In fact, with the current situated Charlotte Hornets roster, 12 out of 18 players on this team have been in the NBA for 3 or less seasons. Without looking up the numbers off the top of my head, this might be the youngest team going into this season in the entire NBA. The reasoning of these facts, at least for myself, is only playing into why I think this team is going to surprise so many people this season. Because when we're talking about a young core of guys like this who impressed so many people the previous season, as we mentioned previously, I feel like there is relatively only room for improvement to see in this squad. Because again, to talk about the major pieces of this young core at a glance, have players to name off like Lamelo Ball, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, James Bouknight, Jalen McDaniels, and Kai Jones. And again, this is only naming the best of them, but with the chemistry that we saw in this squad last year, I feel like they're going to be turning a lot of heads as the season kicks off. And to add on to this discussion, another thing that I've heard a lot with this team in specific, especially having to do with the lack of veteran experience, that they don't have that one guy who can step up and make the big shot or secure the opportunity when they need it. Initially, when this conversation gets brought up, most people undoubtedly agree and say, you know what, that's a good point. Many people don't know that there is one man on this team in particular that's been stepping up to the call time and time again in this aspect, honestly doesn't get nearly the amount of credit and respect he should for what he has been doing not just the previous seasons, but throughout his entire career. If you haven't figured it out yet, it's actually this man right here, Terry Rozier. Because for anyone that somehow didn't notice, Terry Rozier took a monumental leap in his game from when he left the Boston Celtics to sign with the Charlotte Hornets. As throughout his 4 years in Boston, he only put up averages of around 8 points, 3.5 rebounds, and just over 2 assists per game. When you put this in comparison to Terry Rozier's previous 2 years with the Hornets, putting up averages of 19 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 4 assists per game, this difference in major statistical averages becomes very obvious. I know some people are probably going to say he's only putting up these better numbers because he was given a bigger role, meaning that he was just taking an absurd amount of shots. While yes, he obviously had a much bigger role than anything he's seen previously in his career, believe it or not, his shooting splits across the board improved in every major area. Yes, it should be obvious to almost everybody watching now that Terry Rozier has stepped up big time for this Hornets franchise. The thing is, I haven't even read you the craziest stat yet, as this may come to a surprise to all of you, but believe it or not, according to the numbers, Terry Rozier is one of, if not the most clutch 3-point shooters in NBA history. As over the course of his career up until this point, Terry Rozier has shot 46 for 97 on clutch threes in his career, netting him an absurd 47.4% on clutch threes. Another little fun fact for you, in his previous 2 seasons with the Charlotte Hornets, he has ranked 2nd in the entire NBA in clutch 3-point percentage in each of these 2 seasons. I already thought that Terry Rozier wasn't getting nearly the amount of credit he deserved. This statistic just brings that feeling that I have to a completely new level. I don't know you guys, this little rant that I went on just includes some of the reasons as to why I think the Charlotte Hornets are going to make some more noise than people anticipate this season. As always, I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to think about this team going into the season as well. Please let me know in the comments what your projected record for the Charlotte Hornets is in 2022. And on top of that, what you think Lamelo Ball's averages will be at the end of the year. Because it's not just the Charlotte Hornets team that people see improving this season. As with what we saw in Lamelo Ball last season, the sky might be the limit for this guy. But again, if you guys haven't yet, don't forget to like the video down below if you did enjoy, and subscribe while you're down there. I really can't say it enough, you guys. The NBA season is less than a week away, and we have so much to talk about over the next coming weeks. So believe me when I say this, you don't want to miss out. Also, I just wanted to say thank you so much to each and every one of you for watching. Appreciate y'all more than anything in the entire world. You all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.